Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 105 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit and crochet, and get into all kinds of other crafting shenanigans. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for coming by to check me out. Hope you love it here. So happy to have you here with me today. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back for another week to see what I've managed to get done in the past week. So happy to have all of you here with me today. So it is Saturday, April the 2nd, 2022, and it's a gorgeous day. Gorgeous day out here today. It's about little above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It's about 51, 52 degrees. Late afternoon, it's about 4 o'clock when I'm filming this. And it's a gorgeous day. A little bit of a breeze, bright blue skies. Beautiful, beautiful weather out there today. So the hubby and I were out running a bunch of errands this morning. Went out for barbecue, pulled pork for lunch. Did some banking, did a bit of shopping. Nothing yarn related, unfortunately. But we did do a bit of shopping. And now I'm back home, get the podcast done, and then get back to my knitting. I'm starting to twitch. I need to get back to my knitting today. So, what have I been up to in the last week? It's been productive. I have got a lot done. First thing, elephant in the room. My Occhio cardigan by Little Red Knits is done. And I love it. I really like it. It's warm. I'm probably not going to continue wearing it the rest of the podcast today because I'm already warm in it, and I don't want to be talking for a half an hour or longer, boiling. But it's done, and I really like it. I used 6.5 millimeter crochet hook, and I used Karen Simply Soft yarn, and it was in the colorway Dark Country Blue. And I used just shy of 5 skeins of yarn on this. I have a ball of yarn, literally about that big, the size of a golf ball. And that's all that's left of my yarn. I did a few minor modifications. The seam down the back, I really like that seam. And the seams down the side, the pattern had you do a different type of seam down the side seams. I liked the way the back seam looked, so I did the same type of seam down the sides as well. And I also, on the sleeves should have had a mesh bottom, or the bottom of the sleeve should have been the mesh like the bottom of the sweater is, but I found that because it's a drop sleeve and it drops quite a ways on me, the sweater's actually almost a bit large, almost too big for me, but that's fine. But I found that once I was working the sleeve, I found that by the time I did the 25 or so rows that was recommended on the sleeve, I was already at a nice length on the sleeve. And then I thought if I did the rest, the sleeve was going to come down to my fingertips. So I just opted out of doing that. So what I did with this end of the sleeves is I just continued with the same stitch count around the sleeve until I got to the end. Then I did 1 round in a single crochet, and I did 4 simple decreases around at the bottom of the sleeve, and that just kind of brings it in just a little bit. Nothing major. Still a loose fitting bottom of the sleeve, but I really like it. I really like it. I will try to set up the camera and include a picture of what it looks like on. If not, then I have a picture that I've taken of it just laying flat on the floor, and I will include a picture of that over here in just a bit. or I'll put a little extra video of me wearing the sweater in here. I might not get that part done. So that's my Occhio sweater, or my Occhio cardigan. And again, this is a pattern by Little Red Knits, and I love it. It was nice, it was quick, it was fairly easy to make, and it was a well-written, nice pattern. I really enjoyed it. It was a paid-for pattern. I think it was I bought it through Ravelry, or did it link to her own webpage? Can't remember now. Either way, I really enjoyed the pattern, and I suspect I might be looking at some more of her patterns to see if there's something else I want to make in the future. So that's my Occhio cardigan. Seriously. Okay, come on, change. Hope the light changes soon. That's one of the joys of summer living. Oh, come on, stop. Stop. Okay, light changed. They're going now. Motorcycles appear to be out in full swing. Anyway, okay, they're one last little noise for me. Alrighty, I think they're gone now. So anyway, that's my Occhio cardigan. And it's probably not going to get a lot of wear in the next little while, but it will be something that will be pulled out and worn a lot once we get back into the colder weather in the fall. So the sweater's got to go. I'm heating up in here. So I'll be back in a second. I just got to get the sweater off. Alrighty. Okay, there we go. There we go. Cool down a little bit. Drinking Coke Zero now. I'm finished with tea for the day. I don't feel like just plain water, so we'll go for a Coke Zero. Alrighty. So another project that I was able to get some work done on this past week is my Flax Light sweater. And I made a fair bit of progress on this. I had the top part done up to this yellowy marker when I saw you last. I don't think I hadn't worked on it the week before last. I had not worked on this. So this is Flax Light, patterned by Tin Can Knits. And since I saw you last week, I have gone from this yellowy marker. I've separated for the sleeves, put those on waste yarn, and I've done a goodly bit down the body already. So I'm making one of the smaller sizes. This is going to be for a friend of mine for her 5-month-old baby. And I'm making the 6 to 12 month size. So I'm getting close to, I think I only have an inch or two more to go on the body, and then I'll do the ribbing and then do the sleeves. So I'm using yarn that I dyed myself for this. This is probably one of the skeins that I dyed early on. It's actually dyed with Kool-Aid, the Kool-Aid powder, in reds and oranges, and I really like it. I think that it's a really neat color, caked up. It looks like this. It's mostly reds with some white and a few little speckles of orange here and there. It's far more red than orange on it. I'm using 2.75 and 3.75 needles, so the 3.75 for most of the body, and the 2.75 for the ribbing at the neckline, and then it'll be for the ribbing on the end of the sleeves and at the end of the body. So this is coming along well, and I'm hoping to have it done fairly soon. I've got another work in progress that I will show you in just a couple minutes that is occupying all my free time now. And once that project is done, I will switch back to this one. I will be monogamous on this sweater until this is finished, and then we'll see what gets cast on next. So, Flax Light by Tin Can Knits. It's in the 6 to 12 month size. And it should be able to be done easily with one skein of fingering weight yarn. It actually looks like it's going to be able to it looks like there's going to be a fair bit left over. I'll see once I get the rest of the body and the sleeves done, just how much is left over, and see if perhaps I can make the next size up using a single skein of fingering weight yarn. But I'm really enjoying this knit. It's nice and mindless. Right now it's just stocking it, knit round and round and around till I get to the bottom. And then the sleeves, I did include the little garter detail down the sleeves. Might be a little bit hard to see in this yarn on camera, but I did use the garter stitch detail down the sleeves, and I'm loving the pattern. It's a lot of fun. And like I say, once I will show you in just a couple minutes my next whip, and once that one's done, I will go back to Flax Light and get that one finished. So that's my second project to show you. And I also have a new cast on this week. So this is the pattern for round 2 in Sock Madness. So anything else I'm working on right now gets thrown to the back burner while I'm actively in a round in Sock Madness. Once the round of Sock Madness is done, I get back into whatever else I have on the needles. So currently that means I have two whips in progress, Flax Light and the Sock Madness round 2 pattern. So this pattern, I'm loving this pattern also. I'll show you in just a second. This pattern, or this round of Sock Madness, the specs came out on Sunday evening at I think 6:41 in the evening Eastern US time. The specs were released, and it told us that we needed 3 colors of yarn with a goodly amount of contrast, and that the main color should be a middle color and one color, one of each of the contrasting colors. One should be a bit darker and one a bit lighter. I didn't have the right amount of yarn available to do the color that way, so I'm a little bit, in hindsight, I wished I had used different colors, but I still love these. So these are, and again, then the pattern came out on Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the morning, again Eastern time in the US. So once the pattern dropped, I've been knitting all the spare time I have. I've been knitting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I didn't have much spare time Friday, but the last few days I've spent as much spare time as I have knitting, and I'm getting closer to the halfway mark on these. So without further ado, since I've been yakking about them for quite a bit, I'm going to try to show them without getting completely tangled up and without having balls of yarn go everywhere, because I'm doing them 2 at a time in tandem, and I have 4 balls of yarn plus 1 cake of my main color that I'm working from both ends at the same time. So I've got a lot of yarn management happening here. It's fine when I'm sitting at my desk in front of my computer because I have everything all laid out and separated and minimal tangling happens. but when I try to move them from one spot to another spot, all bets are off. So these are the plaid pocket socks. You heard that right. Pockets in a pair of socks. Functional pockets on a pair of socks, and they're plaid. These things are wonderful. This is a pattern by Cow from Mars, and I'm loving this pattern. So let me just try to get my yarn under control here. That might be easier said than done. Hopefully I don't have all my yarn trying to escape on me. I'm just going to tuck in some of the extra tails. I will be showing you this in just a second. These are fantastic. So again, I'm doing them 2 at a time in tandem. So I did both the cuffs, then I did the top part on each. I did one, then the other one. Then I did the pocket on one. Then I came back and did the pocket on the second one. And on the first one, I've gone back and I've closed up the bottom of the pocket, and I've started the last part before we go down to the heel flap. So it's a functional pocket. That's not just the most amazing thing. I love it. So you can see what I mean when I say that it doesn't look too bad plaid wise this way. When I'm looking at it in real life, the plaid doesn't jump out at me. But it does look like the plaid is showing up pretty good this way. But you can see what I mean. It's not coming out as a traditional plaid look with my choice of colors. Other people have done like a medium blue, and then their contrast 1 and contrast 2 were a light blue and a dark blue with the medium blue. Or they've done it in coordinating colors so that the plaid looks like a more traditional plaid. This is not a traditional looking plaid to me, but they're gonna make a fantastic pair of Christmas socks. Maybe I can put a candy cane in there. That might be what I do. Keep candy canes in here. Anyway, so those are my plaid pocket socks. Look at the pockets. That is just so amazing. And the pockets are not an afterthought. They are knit. You do the cuff, then the first part of the plaid, and then you switch on the pocket portion. You're using a double knitting technique. So this is all worked round after round, the pocket and the inside. The inside is just a simple stripe, and the pocket over top of it. So it's done all at the same time. The second one, again without trying not to tangle it, I have not closed up the bottom yet. It's on the needles right now, but once I finish on the first sock, I have 3 or 4 more rounds to do, and the leg is complete on the first sock. Then I need to do 1 round which will close the pocket and get rid of the double knit extra stitches. And then I have 8 or 9 more rounds to do, and then I'll be ready for the heel flap and then the heel turn on both socks, and then continue down the foot. The plaid pattern will continue all the way down the foot, on the top and the bottom of the foot, which is really cool. And I'm loving it. It's a really neat pattern. It looks super complicated, but it's really not that overly complicated to do. If you've ever done double knitting before, it's straightforward. If you've never done double knitting before, the instructions are well laid out in the pattern. So it's nice and it's nice and easy for people who've not done double knitting before to do. This round appears to be going a lot slower than the first round went, which is partly how the whole competition works. The first round is typically, I don't want to say easy, but less complex. That's a better way of putting it. The second round gets a little bit more complicated. The third round, a little bit more complicated, and so on as you progress through the competition. The patterns will progressively get more complicated from the beginning to the end of the competition. But so far on my team, so Team Beethoven, none of us have finished the socks yet. And I'm not quite half done this pair. I'm probably at about 45% done this pair of socks right now. So I've got a lot of knitting left to do. A lot of knitting left to do. So that's keeping me busy. So once I finished filming, get the editing done, I'm going to be back to my knitting. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to power through and continue working on my Sock Madness Round 2, the plaid pocket socks. I have to double check exactly what the name is. I will work on those. I will finish those socks. Hopefully we'll qualify to go on to the next round. We shall see. I have no idea how close the rest of my teammates are. I know a handful of them are guessing that they will be finished their socks tomorrow, sometime on Sunday. So I'm expecting to see, by Monday, I'm expecting to see that several spots on my team have filled up by Monday. We shall see. Hopefully I will get a spot to continue on to round 3. If I don't, I've got a cool pair of socks, either which way. So once I finished my plaid pocket socks, I will go back to working on Flax Light, and then I will be monogamous with that one until that's finished, or round 3 starts, whichever comes first. So those are my plans. I am not planning on casting anything else on that's new, except for Sock Madness Round 3, once that comes out. If I finished Round 2 and I finished Flax Light, then I will find some other pattern to cast on. But until I'm finished both of those, that's all I'm going to work on. So I'm trying to think what else is new with me. Most of my week has been spent knitting. Aside from work things with office hours and advising with students, spending time on a search committee that I'm on. We've had 4 different Zoom interviews this past week. That search is moving along well, and we're at the point now where we're ready to start inviting some of the candidates that we've interviewed to campus for final rounds of interviews before we make a decision. So that's going to eat up some of my time once that comes around. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep on with work stuff, grade 1 batch of assignments, and then knit some more, and then grade some more and knit some more. I've seemed to be going back and forth that way recently. And what else? That's about it. It's been pretty quiet this past week. We don't have anything major planned in the week coming up either, so that's good. That does free up time to alternate between work things and knitting time. So what else? I think that's about all. Other than the projects I've been working on, there's not much else. So hopefully next week, I think next week I'm almost 100% certain I will have my round 2 socks complete for next Saturday to show you. Whether or not it was fast enough to make it to round 3, we'll find out. And hopefully I'm closer to being finished with Flax Light by then as well. It'd be cool if I had 2 finished objects to show you next week, but we shall see. So other than that, I think that's about it. I shall get going, and I will see you guys again in a week. Take care, everyone. Bye.